Hello, everyone. Long time no see. I know it's been a little bit since I've done one of these videos, and I decided to make one today. It's probably been a long time coming about this particular topic or subject, but I think we need to cover it just to kind of set the stage a little bit and kind of help out a lot of the people that might be able to watch this video. I know I only speak from my experience, but in fact, I've seen a lot of different things. And so, without further ado, let's get to the topic of this video. So, this video is about parenting. Parenting. It can be very difficult for some to parent a certain way or in a certain manner because of today's societies and how we are today, right? So the parenting of 20 years ago is not the same of the parenting that it is today. Okay, and when I say that is that the ideas have changed a whole lot, right? The perception of how we're supposed to parent children at all ages has changed quite drastically, right? Um, I don't personally like it just because I have always been this type of individual that has a certain mindset when it comes to parenting. I am also Mexican, and so I have very, you know, strong parenting style, right? So the way that I will parent might not be the same for everybody else, and to each their own. But at the end of the day, really what I want to say is that being a parent is the most important job you will ever have because you are a parent pretty much for the rest of your life. Whether you decided to become a parent early on in your young adulthood or maybe later on as you got older, uh, we all have to understand that parenting is a lifetime thing. Okay, so now that I'm getting ready to be 40, I have a different perspective of parenting and bringing a child into this world. And so with that in mind, right, I believe that we as individuals, as parents, grow or change the way we see things as we get older. Pretty much kind of like taste buds change over time. Our parenting style might change over time, and that's okay, right? But one of the things that I found very frustrating is that we have a lot of people in today's times that they feel that you can't parent a certain way because you're gonna develop, you're gonna have somehow your kid is gonna develop uh, mental instabilities. Is gonna have mental health problems in the future. Things like that. And to be honest with you, I find that rather ridiculous. Just because there's a huge difference in parenting, in providing discipline, and also abusing the kid, right? There's a huge difference. It's a fine line, and you got to really understand the difference in the two, right? Coming from a Mexican background, right? So, if the intent is, as a parent, as a father, it is a one-way communication. With certain ages, can benefit from a little bit of a slack of the leash, for lack of better words. But at the end of the day, for me, is it's a one-way communication. I say, you do. Now there are going to be a lot of parents that don't like that, don't think that's right, don't appreciate it, and by all means, to each their own, right? But at the end of the day, your child has to understand that you are the authority figure. You are the head of the household. You are the one that's making the shots. You run the show. That is what the kid has to understand because, in my opinion, it is the foundation of everything else. When the kid understands that the person that is the parent as the authority figure that understanding then turns into other things, such as my elders have a certain level of authority over me, whether it's grandma or grandpa, aunt, uncle, whatever. Um, my teachers, the teachers in school, have a certain authority over you. Your supervisor, your boss, your manager have a certain authority over you. So this is where the child needs to understand, I need to report to somebody, and it starts with a home and it starts with a parent. That child has to understand the hierarchy of things. And what I mean by that is that the child has to understand, when you say, they do. There's no debating, there's no reasoning, there's no trying to be diplomatic with the child. You say, they do. Okay? I know there's going to be a lot of parents that were like, well, I don't know how to do certain things, so if parenting is very hard and my child is very strong headed, well, I'm sorry to tell you, you got to be the alpha in the relationship between you and your child. Parent child the relationship has to be where the parent, whether mom or dad, is the alpha in that relationship. And that's how it starts. Kids are going to start defying and being defiant. You got to put the foot down. You got to let them know, nope, this ain't working. This ain't happening. When you say, no, I cannot do this, it stays like that. And simple, what can it be done? What can I do this? Blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, no is no. And I said no. Don't question my authority. Don't think that you're gonna get your way by stomping your feet and throwing a fit in the store. That doesn't work, because that is where the child is gonna play his games. And believe me, all children are manipulative as AF, and they're quick to do whatever it takes to get their way. This is children. And to a degree, we have a lot of grown adults that do that. It's the same thing. They manipulate other people and they get them to do certain things that benefits that individual. When it comes to a child, it's the most annoying thing. And so if you are the type of parent out there that says, whoa, society doesn't allow me to do this and that, society has nothing to do with you raising your child. And if you think society needs to approve of your parenting style, somebody didn't come and let you know that you are fully entitled and well within your right to be the authority figure for your child. It doesn't matter the age. Now, I understand that some kids are going to be now adults and have their own family, and there's a different way of dealing with that. But at the end of the day, when you have young children and they're trying to defy, this is how it goes. You say, they do. Period. Dot. That's the bottom line, right? And so as they get older, you might give them a little bit more of a slack. And the moment they start misbehaving, you bring that slack back and you tighten it, okay? Because it is crucial to the kid's development later on, especially for boys. I'm going to tell you this for a fact, especially for boys, okay? Because biologically, a boy starts to grow up. And by nature, we have testosterone, we have masculinity. And with that in mind, we want to be the alpha in whatever situation or scenario that is. So if you are a single mother and you're dealing with your child that's a boy, you got to show that child you are the alpha. You are the head honcho in that situation. Because if you don't and you start catering to that child for whatever reason, and if that child starts to have a strong character and tries to define you, you better let them know. You better let them know who's the boss in that house. And if you got to spank, then so be it. Okay? Because nothing drives me more crazy in today's society. We have a bunch of entitled brats running around that are just acting a fool in the streets. They don't know how to act. They're totally disrespectful for everybody else. And here's the thing about what happens in the situation. If you as a parent don't take the time to educate, and I don't mean academics, but raise them well with good manners, as they get older, it is either a stranger that will educate them, law enforcement, or the justice system. And they're going to find themselves in a very uncomfortable situation, because that moment when law enforcement and the justice system take over, they're pretty much done. Now they have a record, and now they're dealing with a lot of things. So before your kid ends up in that situation, do your due diligence and parent correctly. Get on their ass. Teach them how to behave in public. Teach them how to address other individuals. Teach them how to address their peers. Teach them conflict resolution at their level, and teach them not to be brats. Because the moment this is what was going on in society today. We have a lot of people that are out here road raging and acting a fool, don't know what they're doing, and blah, blah, blah. It is all because of that. Because nobody ever took the time to actually care and give an AF for that child. So when you're out there doing all this stuff, hanging around and being up to no good, somebody should come around and tell you, hey, knock it out. Because that, my friends, is where a lot of people misunderstand. Oh, you're being mean to the kid. No, I'm actually taking the time and I'm going to correct the issue because I love and care for the child. And I don't want him to end up in jail or be taken by law enforcement and right in front of my face. No parent, no father, no mother should ever see their son or daughter be taken by law enforcement or be incarcerated for stupid shit. So do yourself a favor, do the kid a favor, do entire society a favor, and parent like you're supposed to do. Okay? Because nothing drives me more crazy in today's society than we have a bunch of juveniles run around like they're acting a fool and nobody cares to tell them anything. Somebody needs to go over there and get them straight. Okay? And if you don't have the character to do it as a mother, find a person that is willing to do the job. Find the person that is willing to stand up and say, I will take the job and I need to do what it takes to get this kid straightened away. If that means you call a neighbor, that means you call your dad, your stepfather, whatever, and to get the situation under the control, then so be it. Because boys, at the end of the day, we act a fool. I know. I'm a boy. I am now a man. And if I didn't have the proper guidance by my mother and my father, it would have been a totally different shit show. So do the kid a favor, because at the end of the day, it does really matter. It matters to their upbringing. It matters because when they get to an adult age, they will really greatly appreciate what you have done as a parent. Because the moment that you just look the other way and let it slide and say, that's not my problem, or I can't handle this kid, believe me, it will greatly affect their adulthood. And then you know what? Another partner of them has to deal with the consequence now. Whether they're abusive, whether they're total rude and disrespectful, whatever it is. It's the rest of us in society that get to deal with a problem child that you couldn't do it and handle the situation when they were 4 or 5 or 8 or 10 or 12. Get them in compliance. Compliance, and if you got to force compliance, then so be it. Because this is where we need all children to be good members of society, productive members of society, so we could go forward instead of having a world that we're just a bunch of people just acting a fool, don't know what they're doing, and they want to be entitled and deserve all kinds of respect. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. Individuals conform to society. Society does not conform to individuals. And with that being said, that's all I got to say in this video. It's probably very passionate, but it's a very passionate mind being this way. And so hopefully it didn't cause a whole lot of commotion, but if it did, then there's still a solution to out there. So anyways, take care. See you guys. Peace.